hit the live button.
But I know it's not a good idea.
So we should be live. Are we live?
Yep.
Nice. Then let me hit the record button on Zoom. Oop, stop. We should be. Oh, there's the notification. You guys ready?
Yeah.
No, delay it like 20 more minutes.
You guys ready?
I need to cook
I'm
it.
ready.
Anybody else there? Why don't I hear anybody all of a sudden? Hello?
Hello.
I'm here.
Hello?
Oh,
I can hear.
Hello?
we're all speaking.
I don't like mine's froze, I guess. Look.
God damn it, Steven.
See, now I see Tina move, but I don't hear anything all of a sudden.
Is it your headphone jack?
Hang on. How did that happen? I get
Testing 1, 2.
that was very weird.
Are you a
Testing,
professional?
testing. Can
sir?
you hear me?
Am I a professional? Did you really have to ask me that?
Hey, he can hear.
Exactly.
I mean, that worked.
Yeah. Did you really have to ask me if I'm a professional? We already know the answer to this. I'm a half-ass specialist here. All right, here we go. We ready?
Yup.
Yeah.
On this episode of the Culture Smash Cast,
Activist, advisor, Carol fucking Baskin.
Will viewers be able to stand a new Stephen King show?
No, Bat Flack.
I should have gone last.
you should have. It's true.
I really appreciated that. No.
And that flag.
That was good.
All right, it's a Culture Smash Cast, episode 537 for August the 26th, 2020. I'm Stephen Lackey, editor of Culturesmash.tv. Nico?
Nicholas Qualls, contributor to Culturesmash.tv.
Nathan?
Nathan Savino, contributor to Culturesmash.tv.
Tina?
Tina Heinbach, contributor to Culturesmash.tv.
And Zach?
Zach Martin. I review movies and stuff on Culturesmash.tv. You know,
Hey, are you?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
I have.
Are you trying to put a halo over your head with the way that light is positioned? Because
No, I'm just lazy because I
It
forgot
makes
to
his
turn on my
beard
side
blend
light.
into his shirt.
it does.
Whoa.
It does. Look, his beard is
I'm
totally
necklace.
for the
Yeah.
for the video viewers. It totally or the
No
audio
chin,
listeners,
Martin.
no
Yeah,
chin.
no chin. I'm no neck.
All right, so we got a lot to talk about. So I'm going to get right into
The box office.
the box office really quick, and then
Okay.
we've got several things to talk about after that. So here's the box office for last week. Number 10 was The Tax Collector. Is that Zach? Is
No,
he? What is that? What is that?
That was Nico.
some asshole named Nico.
What? Did I make noise? I was trying to get up to. Sorry.
Okay, so The Tax Collector's at number 10. It made $123,000. It has made $814,000 so far. Number 9 is Back to the Future 2020 reissue. Made $140,000. What the hell is happening right now? It made
Nico's being loud.
Yeah,
Pardon me.
Nico forgot to mute his mic again.
Sorry.
Right after we told him to mute his mic.
I'm done adjusting. I'm good.
Okay, good. $240,000, $247,000 that one's made so far, which I guess is not bad for a reissue. Number 8, the Jurassic Park 2020 reissue.
I like how he says it's not bad for a reissue. Also, half the list is reissues.
Exactly, they are. I don't even know why we have the words 2020 reissue. I think if it's in the theater, we kind of know, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
people are
What-
stupid.
Is this a new Jurassic Park? I mean, is this the new,
It's a
the new
remake?
version with Chris Pratt?
Exactly. So anyway, it made 180,000. It's made it's made 1.3, almost 1.4.
I actually wish it kept its original budget. I mean, original income. Like, I want to know what this is adding to the total that Jurassic Park and Back to the Future have made.
Exactly.
Well, that's really easy to find. You just go to Jurassic Park, and as a total, it's made $1.33 billion.
Add another almost $1.5 million to it. So number 7 is Peninsula. More on that in a moment. It made $213,000. Made almost $550,000 in total so far. Number 6 is Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back. Still in the theater. It made $230,000. It's made a little over $1 million.
That movie's going places, I think.
It's doing stuff. Number 5 is Cutthroat City. I don't know anything about this one. It made $243,000. It's 246 so far. I guess it's opened new. It's not marked properly here. Number 4 is The Goonies, still in drive-ins.
Zach's favorite movie.
Yeah, $260,000. It's made $825,000 so far. Number 3 is Words on Bathroom Walls. Don't know anything about that one either, but it made $419,000, and that's its opening weekend take. Number 2 is the SpongeBob movie, Sponge on the Run, still making money. It made another $550,000. It's made 1.4 so far. Number 1 over the weekend was, as anticipated, Unhinged. That's the Russell Crowe, I don't know, version of Falling Down, I guess. It made $4 million. So is that 5 so far? So we have a lot to talk about, and I think hopefully, Nico, you can help me keep me refreshed, because there's probably stuff that I didn't even put, because DC had their fan event.
Yeah.
So we've got a bunch of trailers to talk about, but before that, I thought that we would share the fact that Nathan and I took an excursion to the theater today to, I don't know, check it out, do a once over, see how they're doing things. And we saw Peninsula, which is the
Train to Busan.
Train to Busan sequel. And it's funny, like I kept hearing Train to Busan Peninsula, but now I just see Peninsula by itself. And in the movie itself, it says Train to Busan presents Peninsula. So this is the trick with going to the theater right now, you know, and I Nathan and I made a little video that we're going to share on YouTube after I get done editing it. I just posted an article in our actual group, in our Facebook group, I think, talking about how, you know, health professionals are all recommending against going to the theater, period. But the way that we did it, and the way I think anybody could do it, is
No, don't tell them this method. I need to use this method in the future. If you tell people to use this method, everybody will start using this method.
I doubt they will.
the reality is the people that are watching our show probably already have considered this method. But anyway, basically what you can do, and I'm pretty sure you can do this on the AMC app also, but I know you can do this on the Regal app, is you can go through the process of buying a ticket to a movie and stop short of actually buying the ticket just to look in the stadium and see what tickets have sold. And that is what we did. We just watched, and today 0 tickets sold to Peninsula in the IMAX. So we had the entire theater to ourselves.
At the 1 p.m. show.
At the 1 p.m. show.
Yeah.
So we went in, and it's typically, you know, it was really weird sort of feeling, because I've been watching all these theme park videos and stuff, and in every video you see how they have the floors marked for social distancing and all that. Well, Regal had that too. They basically got these stickers all over the floor about where you can and can't stand and all that stuff. There was only one other person in the lobby of the theater when we went, seeing something. Yeah, seeing something else, I guess, because he didn't come in our theater. And the movie actually started. They didn't start the IMAX situation, the whole process you go through, for 10 minutes. Like the movie was supposed to start at 1. They didn't start till 1:10.
Yeah.
What?
Were you guys sitting there like, oh no, they decided to play the movie?
We were like, do they remember that we're here? Because like, literally it was like 1:10, 1:11 before it actually started.
Well, and it was just an awkward process from the beginning. Like when we first walked in, it was like, wow, it's completely dead.
Well, not awkward in the process, but awkward in the feeling of it, because it was like being there after close or something. Well, and their staff is minimal. They had 1 concession stand worker, they had 1 bartendant, and then they had 1 customer service person who was also the ticket taker, because that person ran to the ticket booth when they saw us coming, or ran to the scheme.
They're like, a customer.
Right?
Too,
yeah.
because concessions, you know, like grocery stores, you have the plexiglass, but you have the hole at the bottom where they pass you your card and stuff. At the concessions counter, it's one big plate of plexiglass, no holes. So to hand over your card, you have to reach around.
You got to reach around it, yeah.
And then they
weird.
deliver your concessions a little ways down the counter.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And also, typically, you see 2 to 3 popcorn machines. In the concession stand, they had one.
That's probably all they need.
It absolutely is all they needed because it was so dead. So they have upgraded the seats. They do IMAX. In the IMAX. They do recline a little bit. They don't recline like a recliner, regular recliner.
Well, if you
theater.
recline fully like a normal one in the IMAX, you're not going to see the bottom half of the screen.
Yeah, it's impossible. But they tip back just a little bit more than they used to.
Well, and more so too, it was great that we had the theater to ourselves. Like I felt super comfortable. But when we left the theater, we just stopped and looked at other showings of like Unhinged and stuff to see if anybody after like 5 p.m. booked to go see a movie. The most for one theater was 8 people.
And again, that was at night.
Yeah.
So
it was like 6 p.m. showing.
Yeah. So we were discussing, the fact that it was the weirdest thing. Usually when I go to a movie, when I go to the theater, I feel like when I get home, I want to shower, but because it was something that I love that I haven't done in months, like I felt exhilarated after coming out of there, like getting to do that again.
I would still want to shower for other reasons though.
It was the opposite of the way I normally would feel. I mean, now to be fair, it was super clean. And we had the sanitizer, which I accidentally squirted way too much in my hand. So I went ahead and put it on a napkin and cleaned the seats because I had it. Wait, Nathan.
All I know is you texted a picture of popcorn and I got mad.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Talk amongst yourselves. Talk about your experience for a second, Nathan.
What about it?
Just say something. I'm doing something.
Okay, well, so basically, it was pretty cool. We got in, sat down, we were able to talk
there you go.
and do what we needed. Our popcorn was...
Fuck yeah!
Actually, Steven was very tempted to bring it home, even though I was like, I don't want any more. Just to show you, Tina. Overall, the movie, though, was great. It was fun, but I still can't tell you if I really enjoyed it because I haven't been to the movies in a while, or if I enjoyed it because I actually liked the movie.
Yeah. So did you like it because you liked the experience, or was it an actually good movie?
Yeah.
I can
walking through the desert for so long, you finally get some water. It's some muddy water, but you're like, man, that's some good water.
Look at those listening kernels.
Exactly. And that laser projection looked good.
I wish it was a dual laser.
Yeah. So on the movie, on Peninsula, I think your enjoyment of the movie will vary depending on your appreciation for like Korean cinema, because everything that was wrong with this movie is kind of stuff that I'm used to seeing in genre films, like from Korea or even from Japan. The CGI looked like video games.
Oof.
It looked like World War Z.
No, it didn't look that bad, but there was some driving scenes that like legit were not driving scenes. They looked pretty video gamey. But the thing is I have a lot of that stuff. Like one of my favorites is a movie called Natural City. I love that movie, but the CG looks really bad. So you kind of know it going in, right? And it's super, super melodramatic. I mean, like more than soap opera melodramatic, and it's like
it's a South Korean film.
Yeah, and they've got the K-pop stars in there and stuff. That said, the things that I really like about a good zombie movie is social commentary, and it's there. And some of it is ham-fisted and heavy, and some of it's not as much, Within the first 10 minutes of the movie, you get some comments on reunification.
If you like the first movie, you'll like the second one.
Although
what if you thought the first movie was fine?
Then you will hate this one because this one's not as good as the first movie in any way. No. But I did enjoy it. I had a good time. Some of the action was fun. The humor was pretty good. There were a couple of little kids in it that were like,
oh no,
super precocious, but they were real cute and funny. I don't know. It's a 6 out of 10 for me.
Actually, the kids in it were much better than most kids.
That's true.
Yeah.
They were probably the best actors in the movie, to be honest with you. Yeah, it's a 6 out of 10. I had a really good time with it. And it was IMAX formatted. It filled the screen. Like I was looking for the black bars and it filled the screen. Which I don't know, Zach, is that something to do with the projector, or what's the deal with that?
when you say filled the screen,
It went edge to edge. It went like the entire
width,
yeah,
or height.
Both. It filled the screen, and I did a quick look on the way back here, and some articles I found did say that it was coming in IMAX format. I don't think it was shot in IMAX. The detail was not.
I mean, according to IMDb, it's 235.
Yeah. So I don't know if it was just being blown up or what it was, but it's fun. I mean, it's a fun movie. It's not great, but it's fun.
Well, and I want to go.
So Peninsula. Never mind.
Well, I'm tempted to use my half day off on next Monday to either go see Peninsula or fully be me and go see Jurassic Park. So maybe I'll see it. I like Train to Busan. So
I was gonna say I think you'll enjoy it. Honestly,
I think you'll enjoy it.
I think if you really like a lot of cheesy anime and you get the sensibility where the movie's coming from, you'll have fun with it. And it's
but
not
like Jurassic Park, though.
Yeah, well, I guess it depends on how many times you've seen Jurassic Park in a theater. I've seen it a lot, so.
Well, and I want to point something out. I'm going to
Don't be pointing.
No, I want to backtrack to box office, and I'm looking at number 1, Unhinged, for being a new movie with good advertisement right now on TV. Pre-COVID, this number would be a little bit higher.
Not as much as you think, though.
Weekend.
I think Russell Crowe is not the draw he used to be. I mean, obviously, it would be. I don't know, what was the number again?
4 million.
Yeah, it would probably be
10.
triple that.
Yeah,
it would be around 10 or 12 million. Yeah.
Although on Monday, New Mutants will be out, so maybe.
Yeah,
I'll use my 55-cent ticket.
So here's something interesting about New Mutants. I didn't put the article in the rundown because it wasn't enough there. But New Mutants is not being reviewed by a lot of outlets right now.
I was about to bring that up too. A lot of outlets are not reviewing it because Disney isn't giving any screeners. You have to see it in theaters. And a lot of people or a lot of outlets are going, no, that's unsafe.
Well, the problem is what I read from like IndieWire, for example, was they're not offering special social distancing situations or anything like that for journalists. And if you're only going to show it in 3 theaters, for example, for all the journalists in Los Angeles to go see, it's going to be crowded. It's going to be crowded. So that's the big.
They're going to have to fight for tickets.
Yeah, I read AV Club had a similar article too about that too. So a lot of them are just turning it down. It's like, no, you can't give us a safe space to watch it. We're not going to review your content.
And you know what I thought? I thought probably what we're thinking at first. Well, this is just Disney being an asshole about it. But you know what's really funny is pre-COVID and all that. This might have been one of those movies where they didn't do advanced reviews because it's totally so bad. Yeah. So now they're saying, oh, we would have done advanced reviews, but they didn't want to come. So now they could put it off on the journalists and say it's their fault.
So it's still Disney being a dick.
Well, no, because that's not even true. They could do advanced reviews remotely. They could just send them screener copies.
I guess
they could. Yeah, they could.
But that screener copies for movies going wide in the theater are still not that common, though.
True. Well, but we're not in a common situation.
Yeah.
I mean, if they wanted reviews to be out, they would do that. This shows that they don't want reviews.
Exactly. And again, pre-COVID, they probably just would have not allowed them. They just wouldn't, because it's probably really bad. I mean, honestly, the movie's probably really bad. I have to see it now because it's been a journey.
It can't be worse than the documentary we watched. So
it sounds like that might be the case.
I also doubt it's the worst X-Men movie because that's my bar.
Actually, you might be right about that because there's been some bad X-Men movies.
Yeah.
So anyway, but to wrap up that the whole experience is I say do it if you can go and no one else is there, and it's easy to find out if they're going to be.
Yeah.
I cannot find anything about Peninsula's aspect ratio other than what's listed on IMDb. And
Same.
the trailer.
I couldn't either. Yeah, I couldn't either.
Because one, Regal doesn't have a dual projector, so it cannot do 1:4:3 to 1.
Okay.
Unless they just upgraded during COVID, they can't.
It's possible.
So it's possible that you saw a open mat like a 1:9:0 to 1.
You know, I kind of felt that. Didn't they do that with like a Guardians movie or something?
Well, it's like it's like select sequences it would open up.
Mm-hmm.
And with the laser projector, it is a bigger image.
Yeah.
By default, it's it's going to fill up almost all the screen, and if you didn't know any better, it's like, holy crap, look, it's massive. It's just not filling it all the way. It's like Tenet is going to look great on that laser projector, but I would prefer the 15 per 70 millimeter print.
Well, we all would. All right, so let's move on to some stories. We'll say what we've been watching on TV for the actual section this week.
How about we review some trailers?
Yeah. So back to the previous discussion that DC Comics Fandom. That's what it was called, right?
Yeah. They released. It was mostly showcasing a lot of the movie stuff, and that is pretty much what there is to talk about. So we've got the Batman trailer, the new Robert Pattinson Batman movie. We got more info, more footage about the Justice League Snyder Cut. How it's going to be, what was it, 4 hours?
Yeah, four hours.
Yeah,
4 parts.
4 part. Yeah, and then also a new Wonder Woman 1984 trailer.
So what do we want to discuss first? What do you guys want to jump into?
Let's go in order. Let's go with the Batman.
Okay.
I actually wasn't too disappointed with the trailer.
I thought it was a good trailer.
So Zach messaged me right away when it went out, and he was gushing. You were gushing.
I was like, dude, it's the first fucking trailer I've been able to get excited for, and like this whole year. Okay, cut me some slack. I have been
there's some tears in that. I can hear it.
Starving for 9 months. Let me have something. Okay. No, for real. It's like, this looks good. Minus, I have a gripe. I think it's the same gripe you have.
The same gripe I have? Yeah, probably. Nathan might have that same gripe. I don't know. Spill it.
Robert Pattinson with his smeary makeup looks like a sad emo person.
I mean, but really, isn't Bruce Wayne just a sad emo person?
Fuck that.
But it's the baggage. The baggage of Robert Pattinson Twilight bullshit.
Robert Pattinson is not a Batman. He is not a Batman. He does not look like a Batman. That's stupid.
Let me. I think he doesn't look like a Bruce Wayne. I'm fine with this Batman. Like in suit, he looks. I think the suit looks good. I think he looks fine. I thought that whole bit.
The parts where it was obvious as Bruce Wayne, he looked a bit oily. Like
he Bruce Wayne with long hair just kind of seems weird to me. Yeah. But that bit when he's like beating down the guy, it's like, I'm vengeance. Like that's Batman. That's a good Batman. I like that bit.
That was a good scene. Yeah.
But he hasn't really showcased a Bruce Wayne image yet, and that's the weird bit.
So the first thing I thought when I saw it is, I'm like, is that Edward Scissorhands? Because he looks just like a 90s, oh poor pitiful me, shoegazing kid, and not like Bruce Wayne. Now the makeup thing, there's part of me that could be cool with that because it made me think of Sho Kosugi's ninja movies from the 80s. And it's because when he would put on his ninja outfit, and I think we've seen this in other similar films, he would do eyeliner to make his eyes more intimidating and darker.
It's the conceit of every Batman movie. Like every live action Batman does that, except they never address it in the film. Because
and they never show it. Once the mask comes off, it's like he never had the makeup to start with.
But obviously he has it. And the funny thing is, this Batman suit is the one where you least see his eyes. So it seems unnecessary, or at least very less necessary. I think from some of the shots of the trailer, it looks like some bits he has eye covering and some bits he doesn't. So maybe it's a retractable lens.
Maybe.
But yeah, I do like that. If they're going to own it, they're going to address the fact that Batman always wears eye makeup to kind of hide that.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that bit. The only real gripe I have with Patterson is he doesn't look like Bruce Wayne, and that's more of a, I guess, costuming, hair, and makeup kind of deal. I think they could do that, and I don't know why. And maybe
And for
other
all we
shots
know,
they will.
we could have just got a lot of like bad shots of Bruce Wayne, and maybe they address that. Maybe it's like when he's
that's the other thing. It's
depression or something.
The
and then they fight
explanation
through it.
I've heard is that basically they shot like 25% of the movie, then had to shut down due to COVID.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I heard that too.
And then
Exactly.
they put this trailer together based on that footage. So
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I'm still optimistic.
Yeah, they have a lot less stuff that they could probably pick from versus a lot of other movies that would be releasing their trailer at this point. So I'm not concerned. I think what we got was really strong. And if it's just that, okay, he looks like a wimpy Bruce Wayne, but as we've seen him in the Batman footage is pretty good, I'm fine with that. I can live with that.
So I think
Nathan
the problem
apparently completely disagrees.
yeah, Nathan does. And I think the problem is when you start looking at it, and this might be blasphemy to some people, but to me, Batman is the easier side of the character to actually get right. Because it's all costume and deep voice and action. Whereas when you take the costume off and he's got to be Bruce Wayne, that's when it gets complicated. You know,
because that's the performance.
Yeah.
You're at that point, you're an actor acting as an actor. So you have this double layer that you have to do.
And it's just, I'm so concerned because the scenes that they showed of Bruce Wayne they just look terrible to me. Now the positives, because I don't want to just sit here and rip it to bits. The positives are he looks like he's being a detective. And that is what Batman is supposed to be. And he's never really done it. Not even in the Nolan movies. The Nolan movies hint at it, but they don't really do it.
A little bit of it when he's like doing the bullet work and and Dark Knight.
That was one of my favorite parts of that movie.
It was just skimming the surface of really what Batman's. He's the goddamn Batman. He's the goddamn
world's greatest detective.
He's the world's greatest detective. Yeah,
I love that we get that, and I think the Riddler is going to be a good way to showcase that ability.
Yeah, I was very happy when they announced that Riddler was going to be the villain.
Yeah, what were we gonna say?
I mean, y'all know I hated Ben Affleck as Batman.
See that? I think you
I actually honestly did not dedicate that fact.
This is worse.
Yeah, I didn't dedicate that fact to my memory, and that's also weird.
Well, wait. Hang on, let him finish the thought.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's worse. I love Robert Pattinson. I love the Twilight Thumbs. I love him as an actor. But this whole trailer just killed any. I'd rather go see Morbius.
Oh, hell no.
God,
no.
The weird thing is we're talking about how Robert Pattinson looks skinny as Batman, but Ben Affleck's like the bulkiest Batman we've had.
I'd rather him bulky.
He is.
I mean, okay, but still, like, if saying that Ben Affleck's the worst.
I'd rather not have a bulky Batman because bulk for me is Superman. Batman is supposed to be a slimmer. He's supposed to have, he's a fighter, but
he's more of a ninja type fighter. He comes out,
he's got to
fuck you up and disappear.
Yeah. He's got to be able to be agile.
Yeah. So I don't want a bulky Batman. That's not, for me, that's not who Batman is. Superman is bulky.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem either way, as long as I like the actor. And the thing is, the thing about Ben Affleck and we're going to get more into this later, unfortunately, we know Ben Affleck is a good actor. Ben Affleck, I liked Ben Affleck's Bruce Wayne. He just wasn't ever in a good movie.
Yes.
Like I said, anybody can be Batman if they're a good Bruce Wayne. To me,
although we don't know, we got a whole new cut. We'll see if he's in a good movie.
Right, but that's why Michael Keaton was good. Out of the costume, Michael Keaton does not look anything like the Bruce Wayne that we all know from comics, but he was great. He played the character really well in that comic booky nod to the 60s kind of style that they were going for. I liked George Clooney as Bruce Wayne, but he wasn't in a good movie. I think he's a good actor.
It's one of the reasons I didn't really like Christian Bale as Batman, because his Bruce Wayne just felt very flat, very two-dimensional to me.
I can see that argument. I love a couple of those movies, and one of them is not a Batman movie, but I could see that argument.
me clarify that. You love 2 of the 3 Nolan movies. One of those 2 is not a Batman.
Not a Batman movie. The other one is one I like to pretend doesn't exist, even though Zach likes it.
All right. Well, let's move on
I like
as
the
we're
IMAX
talking about
sequences in it.
Yeah.
as we're talking about Batfleck a little bit more. Justice
We
League
are.
Snyder Cut.
So the Justice League Snyder Cut pissed me off, and you guys probably saw that because I literally just posted "get fucked" because it made me so mad because it reminded me of the Tarantino movie where they're like, "Oh, let's just break it up. It's a movie, but let's break it up into 4 blocks."
Oh, the Hateful Eight.
Yeah.
Netflix cut.
Yeah, and see.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that's the first thing I thought of when I saw this. I'm like, is it a movie? Or what is it? And it's not honest. This is not the Snyder cut of the movie. It is not even.
What?
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not because he's had
Exactly
over a year, 2 years, however long it's
3.
been.
3
years.
years come out in 2017 is when Justice League came out.
So he's had 3 years to revisit what he was doing, listen to critics, listen to the fan base. Oh, and now he's going to do it unencumbered and do it. Yeah, this is not an honest Snyder
He's also
cut.
going to change the aspect ratio too.
Yeah.
He's doing that specifically to fuck with Zach.
Yeah, and with me because it threw me off when I saw the trailer. I'm like, this looks like I don't like this square.
Well, at first I
That
thought
was the release. I think they were doing some social media release.
no,
I think
that's what I thought at first, but
Really?
no, it is 133.
Really.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, the reason being, and I've really had to look into this one because a lot of people were saying, "Oh, it's all IMAX shots." They wanted to keep it all IMAX shots. No, he didn't film any of Justice League with IMAX. He filmed it in 4x 35 millimeter, which is usually 4x 35 millimeter is usually, if it's not anamorphic, they crop it to 185. It's kind of like Super 35.
This is getting to Zach, get out of the cinematography.
Basically, you can crop the image to create a 185 originally from a 133 image, but Snyder decided, I'll just show the whole image. You'll notice these giant head gaps above everybody.
And you can see a little of that in the trailer too.
No, that's what I'm saying is if you look at the trailer, you can just see these giant gaps of people's heads that are usually cut off.
Did anybody read why they chose this Hallelujah song for the trailer?
Oh my God, the balls you have to do to remind me of that song after.
No, I didn't.
You piss on that song.
I don't.
Watchmen during
that
scene.
That wasn't
you know
Watchmen.
the one.
Yeah.
I do remember now. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
now that you say it, I remember.
I guess you could say that scene was a hoot for some.
You know what it was? It was 3 panels in the comic, and it was 3 fucking minutes of that movie that I wanted to not watch.
It was so awkward after like the first 15, 20 seconds. It's like, okay, they're still going. Whoop.
Let's just do the whole song. Let's just make the trailer the whole song. Now, so once we're settled into the fact that it's 1, not the Snyder cut because it's a lie, and 2, it's not a movie anymore. It's a 4-part miniseries. I'm interested. I'm interested to see what it ends up being.
I mean, if it's better. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll wait till you guys see it, and if you say it's not going to be 4 hours of even more wasted time on this movie,
well, that's the other thing too. Did they announce how they're releasing it? Is it episode 1 week,
weekly.
episode? Yeah, it's going to be a weekly release.
Yeah, that was what I interpreted from it. That you would.
Yeah, because otherwise, why? I mean, just
put them all out. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess we'll watch an episode before we the first week it comes out, and I don't know.
It can't be that much of a waste, more of a waste than 50% or 2/3 of the Mandalorian was. I'm just saying.
That's true. We did make it through that.
And we watched every bit of it, and it wasn't that good most of it. So
and that's coming back in October.
And we're probably going to watch it again
because
we're going to watch it again. We know
we're gluttons for punishment. We
just give me Baby Yoda.
And Nathan just wants Baby Yoda. That's all he cares about. So anyway, was there anything that struck you guys in the footage at all?
It's the same fucking footage that they premiered when they're.
No, there was
fucking footage.
Wasn't there? There was a quick shot of Darkseid in there.
Yeah, Darkseid was in this. Darkseid was in this.
I don't care.
Darkseid and Desaad, which is another one. Like Darkseid's.
And they redesigned the main character, the main villain. I mean, they,
No, I think that was another character. They had just like the guy that
No,
was
I've
kind of in
heard
the
a
hood.
redesign.
I read it. I read that they redesigned him. Yeah.
Well, that's good too because Steppenwolf looks stupid.
Yeah.
So I'm fine with that. But I think Desaad was in the trailer for a shot.
He was.
But definitely Darkseid. Darkseid was there.
I'm
front and
just
center,
not looking
obviously.
forward to Lex Luthor being a creep with that freaking lollipop still.
Oh,
It wasn't a lollipop. It was a Jolly Rancher.
it was a Jolly Rancher.
Still.
It was a Jolly Rancher.
All right. We're all going to
Right.
watch it. Most of us.
Wonder Woman 1984.
So
Oh,
Nathan texted me. Nathan messaged me right away after watching it, complaining about how much he hated it.
Nathan is just not
Nathan's
having a good
weird,
day.
man.
His head is shaking the whole.
I loved the Wonder Woman first one movie.
Do you not like fun?
This
This looks like fun.
trailer to me.
Yeah.
One, they should not have revealed Chris Pine.
He's been revealed.
I
I know,
Previous-
but they should have never done that.
Did you not like the first trailer?
No.
Oh well, then you weren't going to get one over anyway because you
Yeah,
were.
no.
You're already a
I mean,
lost cause.
I liked the teaser because I liked the first movie so much.
Yeah.
But this trailer with
Cheetah.
Yeah, Cheetah. Cheetah looks
I think it's heavy on questionable CGI.
yes.
Yeah, but it's also like enough time to fine tune it. I give CGI and trailers a lot of leeway.
Yeah.
I don't like Wonder Woman using her lasso to ride lightning bolts.
I
That's
love
Nico's
Wonder Woman.
favorite
That's awesome.
part. It's like Spider-Man.
Okay, okay.
Look.
Okay.
There's no reason for it. It makes no goddamn sense. It's
No.
it's super
You know what it
strange,
looks like?
but it looks
like
cool.
fun. It
It
looks
looks
like
exactly.
fun.
It looks fun. It does.
I don't know how Zach and I are on the same wavelength on this, but it looks fun.
I don't think Kristen Wiig can play a villain.
See,
that's the interesting thing.
That's the only thing I liked about it is I like Chris because they're casting against type. They're casting against
I'm
type.
in that too. I'm very fascinated. I it's not what I would have pegged her for. So
Yeah.
I want her to do it. I'm rooting for her to do
I
well
think
with it.
Yeah.
I think Kristen Wiig right now is the only wild card in the movie because it's so cast against type. We don't know what we're gonna get.
Yeah.
You know,
Like,
everything else
'cause-
is pretty predictable.
Yeah, I mean, and we know Pine already. We know Gal Gadot is going to be great as Wonder Woman. Pedro, the guy who plays Maxwell Lord, the guy who plays Mandalorian, who's also in this.
Pascal.
Pascal. He looks pretty good in it.
Anytime
I mean,
you say his last name, by the way, Pascal, I always think of Pascal, and then I think of Pet Cemetery.
Oh, that's not the Pascal, I think.
Pascal says, "We're
Oh.
all gonna die."
I don't think it's as good of a trailer as the first one. I think the first one was a super strong trailer, but I thought it was fine. I'm still looking forward to it.
So I read an interview with Patty Jenkins talking about the story, and their idea was that Wonder Woman in 1984 has lived a long life already and has seen friends and people that she cared about die, and she, it's about kind of her struggle to continue to do the right things and be a good person and all this stuff. Well, then why is Chris Pine even in the fucking movie? He shouldn't be in the movie at all. I don't know.
Because people like Chris Pine.
It's because money. Because Chris
Yeah,
Pine died. He should be gone. He shouldn't be
I'm
back.
was a
interested
shark
to see
when he
how they
died.
bring him back, like how they fully explain it. But if they don't
Yeah.
fully explain it to my satisfaction, I'm just gonna think.
Well,
it's
I get the feeling they're going to explain it and then he's going to go away again. Like, I get the feeling it's a very temporary thing because, of course, he's not in the modern day portion of
Yeah.
Batman v Superman and Justice League. He's not mentioned or anything.
Oh,
of that.
like they say in the trailer,
So-
we can give you anything you dream, anything you
Yeah.
want. Maybe
I
she
mean,
wants him
it
back.
could also be like not really him. It could be some illusion or something. We don't know enough to know that. So I'm
mean,
fine going into that.
Which is
And-
annoying because it's lame. It's lame. I don't want to hear from you, Zach.
I mean, acid does wonders.
I mean, yeah, maybe
Um,
she saw the acid the whole movie.
Yeah.
I like
It is 84.
No, yeah, so it's cocaine.
but I like Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman. I think
Oh, I
Kristen,
love her as Wonder Woman.
Kristen Wiig is a wild card. I don't know what to expect from her. So that's the things that have me right now. I don't like. I'm glad you like it. I don't like the Ride the Lightning thing unless they choose to use the Metallica song. Then I might like it better.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. That would be cool. But I don't know. But I also find that the first film hasn't aged as well as I thought.
No, it hasn't.
would.
I haven't watched it in a while, but
I
remember
have it. I bought it.
when I watched it, it was the one DC Universe movie that I actually loved.
To me,
Oh, Zach got murdered.
yep. So DC has some movies that I like. I like Aquaman. It's fun. I really like Shazam for a family movie. I think it's cute. and
Shazam
fun.
was fun.
I think Shazam is the strongest of the DCU, and
Yeah.
DCU being Man of Steel onward, like all
Yeah.
what the movies they're trying to put together.
What's the worst one?
Yes, Batman vs Superman.
Batman
Worst
v
hands down. Yeah, Batman v
No,
Superman.
dude, Suicide Squad.
Oh, I
This-
forget about that
Katana.
one. Suicide Squad is.
But
That's
Suicide
my
Squad
bad.
is Academy Award winning.
I was
Oh,
about to say,
Yeah,
it's
it is Academy Award winning.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
true.
that's true.
God.
That's
But
true.
but actually, that does bring up another one. There's also Suicide Squad teaser, not necessarily a full blown trailer. They released a
Massive
teaser roll of the cast, like who's playing who.
And there was
and
an
then-
interview with tied to that with James Gunn.
Well, James Gunn and some of the behind the scenes stuff too, and some of the cast as well. It was kind of a 2-minute behind the scenes bit, but then also that teaser that's kind of the pop art comic styling of
Mhm.
here's the
I
actor.
did
and the
like
character.
the style of it.
So is that on YouTube?
It
Yes.
is on YouTube. Yeah,
I'll check that out.
they did that twice. They did that with that movie, and they did it with Black Adam. Also, Black
Yeah,
Adam
Black-
interviews, but it had Dwayne Johnson like voiceover.
It
talking
had
about-
much less like actual visuals of the movie.
Yeah, because I don't know how much if they've even shot.
I don't know.
They've
I don't know.
shot a little bit, but production
But-
right now.
But just
So-
not just Suicide Squad's got a good bit filmed.
Suicide Squad, it's weird, but I'm actually really excited for because of James Gunn. Because James Gunn writes some outlandish shit, and he's a good director of action. We've seen that from the Guardians movies.
He's decent with ensembles.
He understands comic books. And Margot Robbie, that character was made for her. She just hasn't been in a good movie yet.
Yeah, Margot Robbie always comes ready to play. The writers never come ready to play.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
this might be the time. You know how I believe that the best Spider-Man that we've had in the modern MCU was Civil War. This movie might be the best Harley Quinn that we get. Is in this ensemble piece.
I'm really looking forward to how massive this cast list is, because there's a lot of names. Even if they're not all A-list names, there are a lot of recognizable names playing characters that are essentially equal build in the teaser trailer.
Is she?
And it really gets across the idea that the Suicide Squad's gonna have some suicides. Some of these people are gonna die,
And that'd be great.
It's way too big of a list, and I love it. It's like we don't know who's gonna survive. The only sure thing is Harley's gonna live, and that's pretty much it. But everybody else, I'm pretty sure is fair game.
Is Harley Quinn the only one they're bringing?
Bring
No.
it back. There's a
Captain
couple.
Boomerang,
Boomerang,
Colonel
back.
Flag.
But
What's
like Will Smith is gone.
Yeah,
Will Smith's
Yeah.
gone.
Where's
Jared Leto.
Katana? She's got my back.
Katana's
Look at all
gone.
you
Jared
done.
Leto's not in it.
Stroke.
Good.
Thank God.
Zach was all into Katana. He liked her
Dude,
the
she
best.
had this great design and zero character and
Yep.
zero importance and just
I don't know. Oh, go on ahead, Steven.
No, I was just gonna say I'm just anticipating it. I'm excited to see
I
what he
just
does.
hope they don't massacre it.
All right, moving on.
I mean I was gonna say something, but
As,
sure.
the sequel is
Well, you are going to say something. You have the
Transition
next
is
story.
Fine,
name.
as long as I'm talking. Did anyone see Assault on Arkham?
oh, this is video game talk. I didn't
No,
bother.
it's not video game talk. It's an animated movie about the
Oh.
Suicide Squad going
Yeah.
into Arkham.
Yeah, that one's
didn't
not
watch it.
that one's not new content.
It's
it already
couple
exists.
years
Yeah,
old.
it's a
Yeah.
Suicide Squad movie, and then
Yeah.
you realize it came out before the Suicide Squad movie, and you realize why didn't they just do this?
Yeah,
Well, Harley Quinn has been around for 15 years. They could
longer. No,
Yeah,
Harley Quinn-
longer.
I'm talking
Yeah, they could have
Fine.
done.
Suicides. It is a direct. You are the Suicide Squad. Here is your mission: infiltrate Arkham Asylum. It's not
Oh.
save the world and stop a god. It's hey, go get these files for me.
Well, Zach, since you massacred Tina's transition, why don't you?
Bam! Now you got to move on.
I don't know. I might use a chainsaw. But hey, speaking of chainsaws,
Mm.
the Texas Chainsaw Massacre sequel. This is like the 4th official, we're doing it for real this time, I swear we are, sequel is going through some major upheaval. Just 1 week into production, the directors Andy and Ryan Tohill have exited the film over the classic creative differences.
I swear it's cursed.
Well, I mean, we've had Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2. We've also had Texas Chainsaw in 2013 that was a sequel that, disavowed all the other ones. So here we go again. Basically, they shot a single week of filming, and then the producers and studio execs looked at the dailies and went, no, we're going to change all of this, and decided to completely start fresh and go back into pre-production, I'm assuming.
I just feel like this is a franchise they should just leave alone.
It's had one good movie.
Well, it's had
One.
has had one classic movie
Mhm.
and one that I enjoy.
Jessica Biel.
No, I like
Jessica Biel. Yeah, the remake.
No, I like the second Toby Hooper movie because he chose to try to take it in a little bit of a different direction since it's his franchise. But it's so good and it's so twisted. That second movie has like one of the most disturbing scenes in it. There's a scene in there that just when I saw it as a kid.
The chainsaw is his penis.
Well, kinda, pretty much.
It's directly supposed to mean that.
Well, yeah. I mean, we got to see him like do stuff with it too.
What's really funny is that when Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, I guess we're gonna call it 2, for real this time. So Fede Alvarez, which he did Evil Dead, the remake of that.
Yep.
And Don't Breathe, and most recently the girl who played in Spider's Web, or something like that.
Which is a shit movie, by the way.
Yeah, he said 2 out of 3, so I'll give him that. But a few months ago he came out and said, "Oh, these guys' vision is exactly what the fans want. It's violent, exciting, and so depraved that it will stay with you forever."
Yeah, but I don't know these guys. I feel like they don't. I don't know.
I mean, this is where it gets back because the originals stay with you.
Yeah.
So these remakes are just like, eh.
The only thing I appreciated about the Jessica Biel one that you're talking about, spoilers if you haven't seen it all these years later, is, she was a known entity, a name back then, more so then than now. And they killed her, which is a pretty, something you don't see. Anytime I see a name actor, actress in a horror film, I already know they're fine.
They're going to survive,
There's no jeopardy, which is why, Drew Barrymore at the beginning of Scream was so great, because she was the A-list actor in that film and was gone in 10 minutes. And Jessica Biel, now she didn't go until the end of the Texas Chainsaw, but she still got killed, which is cool. So I respect it for that.
Which was
She
unexpected.
died in that?
Yeah, right at the end, you think she's getting away, and then the chainsaw, doesn't it come through the seat of the car she's driving or whatever it is?
No, you're thinking of the sequel, Texas Chainsaw, at the beginning.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Jessica Biel dies.
She does die, though.
Yeah.
If that's not how the right way she dies, she does die. I remember.
Because I remember her ending with a really bad scream and she didn't make it.
Yeah. Because that stuck out to me. I'm like,
let me double check this because
Well, that's happening.
But it's just a franchise that is of an era that you can't make movies like that now. I think you can't do it. You can't.
Well, the sad thing is, what made the original Texas Chainsaw look so good, it was so gritty. Like it was kind of like when the first Wrong Turn or The Hills Have Eyes. Like
Well, I mean, I because I think that kind of grit you could do again. Like I kind of felt that in the Evil Dead remake.
I think Zach just declared that he was right.
I win. So basically, at the end of the film, Erin, played by Jessica Biel, sneaks the baby out of the eatery and the hot wires the sheriff's car before running him over repeatedly until he's dead. Leatherface appears on the road and tries to stop her, but Erin and the baby escape unharmed.
Is she in the second?
Archive footage.
Is she in the second one?
No, because the second one takes place before this one.
Okay,
And
well
that's
then
I'm pretty sure she does.
I'm gonna.
thinking of does happen to where she's getting away and the chainsaw comes through the seat and grots her. That does happen in the prequel sequel. I know that for sure.
God.
Okay. See, that is another thing that's wrong with this. This is like 90s era Star Trek messy.
It is. It really is, because there's like 3 timelines to this thing. There's the remake timeline, there is the canon timeline, then there's the revisionist timeline.
Oh man, you
So
gotta
what we
love
need-
the horror,
yeah.
the Leatherface multiverse.
Yeah, the Leatherface multiverse is going to come together in the next movie when all 3 Leatherfaces come together.
It's gonna be
I'm
like
waiting
Cole and
for.
Chucky.
You know what I'm waiting for? I'm waiting for Texas Chainsaw 2099. That's what I want.
Yes, I will. Yeah, that. Yes.
Or Texas Chainsaw Beyond.
I mean,
Okay.
the problem, I just don't see. Again, with I was saying this earlier. The problem with a lot of modern horror movies nowadays is everyone has a cell phone.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's
horror
like,
is harder to write now because of Uber. Well, we talked about this. I mean,
Yeah.
even Planes, Trains, and Automobiles we talked about last week. It's harder to write now because you've got a cell phone, you've got Uber, you've got.
Well, that was the problem with Halloween when she dropped the phone in the punch bowl.
oh Jesus! But nobody else had a phone. Nobody else. Yeah.
Right.
But I mean, that's the appeal of Texas Chainsaw is you're on a road trip with your friends, you're trying to find the grave side of your family, and the house you still go to.
It's out in the boondocks, so it's very
It's out in
possible that you don't have signal.
nowhere, and boy, you stepped into the wrong area of town.
Well, you know what though? Here's the thing: is good horror films are written based off something real, and I don't mean a real story. I mean a real emotion. Because that movie came from a couple of things. One, it came from that fear of isolation with no help, which is something that could happen back then. It also came from, famously, Tobe Hooper's story of being in a hardware store, and it was so crowded, and all he wanted to do was get something and get out of there, that he started to look at the wall of chainsaws and wonder, what it would be like just to rip that thing down and start cutting people up. And Texas Chainsaw was born. Now it feels like horror is written for money. Or just reissuing franchises because it's a quick buck. It's it has to come from the heart, regardless of what kind of storytelling you do. It has to come from the heart, and I don't think a good horror has done that in a while. All right, so we move on.
Rosalie said paperwork.
All
right.
Okay, so moving on. Batman returns, or at least Ben Affleck does. Affleck has agreed to return as the Cape Crusader in the upcoming Flash movie. The Flash, which is planned for summer 2022, will star Ezra Miller, who is the Flash in the Justice League movie from Zack Snyder, released 2017/2021. And it is directed by Andy Muschietti. The emotional connection that we saw between Ben Affleck's Batman and Ezra Miller's Flash in Justice League, or at least in the original version of the movie, who knows what's going to be now, seemed to be a very key aspect that Muschietti and Warner Brothers want to explore. So they're going to bring in Affleck as that kind of anchor.
Because you know what? Affleck's a good actor.
He is a good actor. He's also not the only Batman coming back. As we've talked about weeks past, Michael Keaton as the Batman from the 1989 Tim Burton film is also going to be coming back, solidifying the film's premise of playing around in the larger DC multiverse. We've already seen some exploring with that because Ezra Miller has also appeared as Flash in The Flash on the CW with Grant Gustin's Flash. Affleck was previously signed on to direct and star in a standalone Batman movie, but he left that project due to a myriad of personal issues. Matt Reeves took over, starring now Robert Pattinson, as we discussed with the first trailer. So far, no word that Pattinson is also going to be in the Flash movie, but we've still got 2 years, so who knows?
I think it's all confusing. I think
it's confusing, but I want to see it. Like, I want to see them playing off of each other, like the Batmans and everything. My only concern is I think that for me personally, you guys will probably disagree like you always do, but I feel like they're trying to replicate the feels people got with Spider-Man and Tony Stark.
That's what.
No, I agree with that.
And it's like, do you have to do everything Marvel does? Really?
Mhm.
So I think that is kind of true, but it's not like it's. I mean, definitely that like older mentor character, younger person who looks up to him. It's not like unique to Tony and Peter. So I'm not terribly concerned on that front. I'm curious about, and this is probably gonna come off as very comic book elitist, but I'm curious about the sophistication of general non-comic book movie-going audiences dealing with multiple Batmans.
Yeah.
And trying to people trying to figure out where does the Batman take place in this cinematic universe when Ben Affleck Batman and now Michael Keaton Batman. Like, I think Michael Keaton Batman is understandable, but having essentially two active Batman actors, because this means that Ben Affleck's really out of retirement. It's not like he skipped a movie and left the franchise. He was in Justice League, which is just now coming back out, and then there's only going to be about a year difference between Justice League and The Flash. So effectively, he didn't really retire. He is still the Batman, while Patterson is also the Batman.
This is like deja vu.
Yeah.
Because we've had the same exact conversation, and I know I expressed the same concern with the possibility of the multiverse situation in the Marvel films. Because we got it with we obviously got it, with Doctor Strange, and they're trying to open the door for the multiverse so we can do a different Spider-Man and all the other things that they want to do. But I had the same problem. I don't know. I don't.
I think Spider-Man did it smart if they go that route, because they started because it's animated. So you don't have this conflict of there's a multiverse, and this multiverse already doesn't look anything like the MCU that you're used to. So if they end up bringing in, say, Tom Holland into the Spider-Verse sequel, or Andrew Garfield or Tobey Maguire, I think that's not going to be disconcerting.
I think most of your standard movie-going people that, like I think about my sister, for example, that watches Thor because she thinks he's hot, and same with Iron Man, is not watching the animated Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, that too. So it's not really going to have an impact on people's interpretation of the MCU.
But if they do
going full on.
Yeah, and I agree. I think it's weird that we're gonna have a Robert Pattinson and Ben Affleck both playing Batman.
I also don't think Marvel's gonna go that route. I think Marvel is going to say this is this version of the character. We're not.
Can I also say how disappointed I am that they will probably never bring in my favorite Batman,
which is
Kevin Conroy.
Oh, Kevin Conroy.
Yeah.
Which did technically show up in Crisis on Infinite Earths on CW, which is the same crossover that Grant Gustin came in. So technically, he's in this multiverse.
Yep.
Okay. I'll be satisfied for now.
The flip side of it is, I might be the only one, really, maybe Nico to some extent, but that actually liked Ben Affleck as Batman. So I'm
agree.
Yeah, I like him.
I like Batfleck. I think it's great. It's a great choice.
I know I can figure out the multiverse thing, so I'm happy to see it. Will it implode the DCEU? Maybe, because general population won't know what the hell's happening.
I'm kind of. I feel like it's also kind of shooting Robert Pattinson in the foot a little bit, just because like you're supposed to be the Batman now. You are Batman, but not over here.
See, and maybe what they should do is, and I don't know why they haven't done this, is if they're really going to have multiples of characters, they should do what comic books have done so well over the years. Like, I know that if I get the Batman or if I get World's Greatest or Detective Comics, it's two different things a lot of times, two different versions of the character and all that. If I get Action Comics, it's a Superman one-off versus, New 52 Superman. Let's start labeling the film what it is so people can separate in their mind what they want to see. I mean, we had the multiverse situation, Ultimate Comics Spider-Man versus Spectacular Spider-Man or Amazing Spider-Man. I mean, that's how with comics we were always able to separate who was who.
I'm curious if they are going to try to tie in the Batman into the DCU, because as far as we know, it's pretty much on its own thing. It's not going to be tied into Wonder Woman or anything else.
The Robert Pattinson one?
Yes.
Oh no, I think I think that if not in the first movie, it will definitely make its way into the
Yeah. If Robert Pattinson sticks around as Batman, it's just like, okay, we are going to hold on the Patterson train. You're Batman. You're our Batman. You're the future of this franchise.
Yeah.
They have to. I think they have to tie it into the MCU or the DCU.
Yeah.
And if they do, is the Pattinson films like a prequel? Is Pattinson Affleck? Like, are these the same characters? Pattinson's
Exactly.
younger. Because that would make a lot of sense. If Ben Affleck is just, you're the same character, you're just older.
And I feel like the only way that works is if they start recasting some.
Well, actually, no. I think there is a way it works, because the loose plot of the Flash movie is being adapted from a Flash story called Flashpoint.
Right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which essentially shatters and rebuilds the multiverse. It's what leads into the DC Comics reboot of the New 52.
It's so complicated for cinema, though. This
It
happened
is
over a lot of
very
books.
complicated.
I agree. That brings up my point about audiences being possibly confused about multiple Batman interpretations and whatnot. But if this is their window of we're gonna break the DCU to rebuild it, and that allows us to have Pattinson as Batman and maybe get rid of some of the trash that is the Cavill Superman. To clarify, not that I have a problem with Cavill. I like Henry Cavill as an actor.
Yeah, he's fine.
I don't like Snyder's Superman.
They did him dirty.
They did him super dirty.
Yeah.
But if this is DC's attempt to clean everything up, I don't know how well it's going to go in terms of fan reaction, but going forward, I think it might be a good move.
Well, and also with what you're saying about Snyder, are they welcoming him back into the fold of the DCEU?
I have no idea, no earthly idea what's going on.
By letting him giving him millions to redo Justice League, are they saying, "Hey, come on back, let's do some more movies"? Then that means he's gonna fuck up Superman more. He's probably gonna fuck up Batman some more at some point if he starts.
Yeah, I understand the fan base cry for the Snyder Cut that had been going on for the last 3 years, but again, Man of Steel and Batman vs Superman, Dawn of Justice are not looked after as good movies typically.
Exactly.
And we could be in a bubble, but most critically, like especially Batman v Superman, most critical reaction to that movie is not good.
And maybe we're in some kind of weird bubble, because you want to know what's really funny is I had to get into a fight with my dad over Justice League because he has access to my Amazon Prime account, and that dude keeps renting that movie over and over again and charging my credit card. He keeps renting Justice League because he loves it. So I don't know. Maybe
I don't know. I'm more of a fan of looking forward to what maybe Marvel's coming out with.
Oh, that's a segue.
Oh, nice.
It is.
Nice job.
Olivia Wilde has signed a deal with Sony Pictures to develop and direct an untitled female-centric Marvel film project for the studio. Well, at least that's what sources have told Variety. Representatives for Sony and Marvel had no comment about the project. Speculation has arisen in the recent months about Sony developing a movie centering on the Spider-Woman character. Now, for those not in the know, Spider-Woman title has been held by several Marvel comic characters throughout the years, starting with Jessica Drew in the 1970s, whose origin story involves uranium exposure and spider blood, and also including Mary Jane Watson and Gwen Stacy. In fact, Spider-Gwen version of the character has most recently appeared in the animated feature Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, voiced by Haley Steinfeld. Now, the film will be written by Booksmart writer Katie Silberman and Amy Pascal producing. Rachel O'Connor will executive produce. Variety first reported in May that veteran TV director S.J. Clarkson has signed on to develop the first female-centric movie from Sony's catalog of Marvel characters. And insiders said at the time that there will be a strong possibility that the film would be based on the Madam Web comic book character. So, you go quite a few ways there.
Okay, so before we get into opinions about this movie and whatever, let me share with you guys my favorite Olivia Wilde story. You guys ready for this?
Is it wild?
It kind of is. So, it involves Mr. I Have to Be Right. Let me IMDb it. So, before Corona happened and all of this stuff, you would go to the movies, and Olivia Wilde was always in front of the movie, right? At Regal.
Yeah.
She would come out and say, Hi, I'm Olivia Wilde, director of Booksmart, and blah, blah, blah. Because she was sponsoring, look, Zach had to leave. Because she was
those student film projects that they would always show. Yeah.
Zach, not paying attention, says to me, "Why is Olivia Munn up there?" And I'm like,
what?
Olivia Munn is an Asian woman, right? You know Olivia Munn's Asian, right? And this woman is definitely on screen right now is not an Asian woman.
And she says her name.
And there's a significant age difference between the two.
And it says her name down at the bottom. So even if she didn't physically say her name, you could read the words.
I hope that they continue to play that thing from now till the end of time, because every time Zach and I are at the theater, I say, "Oh, look, Zach, it's Olivia Munn."
God. It's like I fuck up one time,
and you never.
And it wasn't just a small one either. It was like a
royal
royal fuck up.
We will never let you forget this.
100%. So to the movie, I think Olivia Wilde is a good director. I liked Booksmart.
I love Booksmart. Yeah.
I thought her characterizations were great. I had issue with the theming of the movie. Like there was some overarching kind of themes that I didn't agree with.
And I think it was Zach who was like, "It's just super bad." But for girls.
I didn't like Booksmart as much as y'all, but none of my issues are with the direction. It's merely with the writing.
But now that said, if she's someone who does, light comedy and drama, and she's having her writer who does light comedy and drama, are they the ones to do a superhero movie? I don't know.
I think a lot of it is also going to depend on what the movie. I don't know who. Okay, so word is it's going to be a Spider-Woman movie, but
that's what everybody thinks.
Don't know which Spider-Woman it is. I would lean heavily.
For all we know, it could be a Silk movie, which
that's
the drama
possible,
would definitely need to be there.
But I would doubt it. I think I would lean towards Jessica Drew. Because the lack of
that's the one everybody who's comics more knows. Yeah.
Well, it's also not at all connected to Spider-Man. Like everyone else, their origin or in some way the power set is actually related to Spider-Man, which means more MCU kind of inclination. Jessica Drew is not, her origin has nothing to do with Spider-Man. Her power set has nothing to do with Spider-Man. She's just also spider themed, and that's it.
Yeah.
So I think it would be the smartest one to do.
I mean, the issue that I have, though, is it always comes back to these same two directors, and one is Kevin Smith, and the other one is Mark Webb. Because you get somebody who did 500 Days of Summer, a light dramedy, come in to do a Fantastic Four.
No, he did Spider-Man. He did both amazing films, and he only did it. And I don't know. I guarantee he's only set in those roles because his last name's Webb. There was no resume reading at all. It was like, oh, this guy's got this is Webb. His name's Webb. Of course he's gonna do the movie.
But those movies are shit. They're shit.
Yeah,
and then I think about Kevin Smith, who is probably the smartest director involved in superhero movies, period, because he keeps getting offered things and he keeps responding, "I'm not the guy." He's been willing to. He offered, and I think he did write a script for Superman.
Yeah, no, that was the Nick Cage, the
Nick Cage,
Tim Burton Superman. Yeah.
I understand wanting a female director in the chair to man a female-led character. I get wanting that sensibility there, but make sure they can actually do this kind of movie that's their wheelhouse. Or I kind of like what they tried to do with Birds of Prey. Movie didn't work out, but they brought in a seasoned action guy to do the action scenes, and that's maybe something.
The action scenes were
the action scenes were the best part of the whole thing. Have you watched Birds of Prey?
Have you watched the final action scene in that movie?
Have you compared it to the rest of the movie?
Have you actually watched the final action scene of that movie?
I've seen the whole thing. I saw it in the theater.
Okay, well then you should know that ask any stunt person to watch that scene and they will cringe.
You should know, as bad as that scene is, it's better than the rest of the fucking movie.
I thought it
Yeah.
was. Well, okay.
Okay.
If
All
we're
right,
gonna
all right.
compare a bad action scene,
All right.
bad-
Yeah, but I mean,
All right,
my
guys.
point is, I actually think she is. I like her, and I like her writing and stuff. I just don't know if she's. I don't know if I can get excited about a superhero
depends
movie.
it depends on
Yeah.
the support team, and it ultimately just depends on what the movie is. I mean,
True,
So worst case, it's just another Captain Marvel.
But let me ask
which
you
is
this.
mediocre.
The director,
but not awful.
did the director from Wonder Woman have experience?
Patty Jenkins?
Yeah.
No, and I was scared about her too.
Yeah.
And if you look at some of the key sequences in that movie, Zack Snyder came in and worked with her on them. Like if you looked at slow motion scenes, they look like they came right out of Justice League.
Right.
You know, so maybe that's how that stuff worked out. But I do love that scene, and I think she 100% directed it, where she's like coming up out of the foxhole and kind of walking and deflecting.
Yeah, Zack Snyder doesn't take over until like she gets to that like guard tower.
When she jumps into the guard tower and everything goes Zack Snyder, all of a
That's
sudden.
when it goes Zack Snyder.
Yeah. But we have seen producers come in and like kind of do that before, like Jerry Bruckheimer. Like you could always tell Jerry Bruckheimer produced film in the 80s and 90s, you know, original Bad Boys and The Rock. And so they all had that Bruckheimer look to it. So maybe if they bring in an action producer or comic book producer, it could be cool.
I mean, there's many parts that
cool.
will make it successful, but I do like a female director heading a female lead.
I don't know why no one ever goes to my girl, Catherine Bigelow, because I know she can do action.
She may not.
Yeah,
want
but I
it,
want to
yeah.
get a DP on her to where they're not constantly zooming in and having a handheld look.
Still, you know, I take some of the, I love some of what she did with
I mean,
Point Break.
did anybody other than me see Detroit?
I didn't see Detroit. No.
Okay, well, your girl, you didn't even go see her newest film.
Because it didn't interest me. And I heard it was bad. Everybody does a bad movie, Zach.
It was good.
Everybody. Was it? Because I heard it was bad. Oh, okay.
I went and saw it. It was like a horror movie. It's like I expected like this kind of thriller. It was a fucking horror movie.
All right, let's move on. I think we're running really long.
So talk
here we
about female powers. Woo. That's all I got.
Well,
You
infamous
told
wildlife activist Carol Baskin said she's keen on acting as an advisor on Kate McKinnon's upcoming Tiger King TV show. Baskin became a target to many celebrity impersonations, including McKinnon, and will be portrayed in a limited series based on Baskin and Exotic's rivalry, which will premiere on NBC. While she is more known for comedy, the show's synopsis makes it sound like McKinnon's take on the character will be more dramatic, though the nature of the story does lend itself to humor regardless of the show's overall tone. Now, Baskin told the Pet Show podcast with Dennis Quaid and Jimmy Jelinek that she has attempted to reach out to McKinnon to become an advisor on McKinnon's show. In addition to advising McKinnon, Baskin adds her primary motivation is to ensure that big cats she used on the show are taken care of properly. Baskin went on to say that McKinnon has not reached out to her, that she really hopes that she does before she gets too far down the line with it. I would love to know what her take is on it and what she's thinking to do and see if there was any way we could advise her. We reached out to her through the media because I don't have any way of contacting Kate McKinnon, but we had posted publicly that we really hope that her and anybody that does any kind of follow-up programming doesn't end up doing what Cardi B did and hiring people that are exploiting and abusing cats. It's like the worst thing you can do to abuse cats to show other people that you shouldn't abuse cats. Baskin's reference to Cardi B is related to the music video with Megan Thee Stallion on their music video WAP, which features big cats. Baskin publicly criticized the artist for using real-life cats in the video, claiming it encourages members of the public to own exotic animals. While it may seem Baskin is helpful with her offer, she also clearly has an ulterior motive.
Of course she does.
She is likely attempting to get on set to ensure McKinnon's portrayal of her is flattering. That is unlikely to be the case given the synopsis of McKinnon's show specifically mentions her possible involvement in the death of her husband. And while Baskin may well be able to ensure that big cats used on set are kept safe, the truth is there are professionals employed by the movie and TV industry whose full-time job it is to ensure the on-set animals are not being abused.
Yeah, so there's no
It's
way
just a grab.
it is.
Yeah.
But
No.
to add on really fast, Baskin is actually rumored to be on the next season of Dancing with the
Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah, I didn't put that story because it's still a rumor, but yeah, that's probably something that's going to happen.
Also, fun fact, just a quick thing about Dennis Quaid, the podcast show with Dennis Quaid. Dennis Quaid adopted a cat because the cat's shelter name was Dennis Quaid.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
So
I this really is a couple of things. One, I think the article is accurate that she just wants to see if she can have some influence on how she's portrayed, which is not going to happen. And two, some money.
Yep.
You know, obviously, if she can get a consultation fee or something like that, there'll be money there.
She's not done with her 15 minutes of fame.
Exactly.
Well, she really wants to control her image because she did not like how the Netflix series portrayed her.
Why would you? Why would you?
You murdered your husband.
No one came out of that show
You fed him
looking.
to cats.
No one came out of that show looking good. What do you mean you
No
didn't
one
like
did.
that?
I mean, if
My
Tanya
favorite
Harding can go on Dancing with the Stars, Carol Baskin can.
I have to say, one of my favorite
least Tanya
scenes from
Harding.
Tiger King with Carol Baskin is
Tanya
when
Harding
she's saying like cats shouldn't be kept in cages. Literally right behind her is
There's
a big
cat in a
cat in a fucking cage.
That's
Stupid.
okay. So the big thing about this show, though, and the thing that's connecting this is it's already been. There was a separate article where the show has already been brought to full series by NBC.
Yeah.
And weirdly, the other show starring Nicolas Cage is also moving forward. And the Tiger King sequel is moving forward over on Netflix. So there's going to be so much of this
My
crap.
God.
They're
everywhere
going to
next year.
oversaturate us with
Yeah,
Tiger
it's going to be
King.
it's not that good. It's mildly
No,
amusing.
it's a train wreck, and all these people are garbage people who deserve to be forgotten.
Yet in 2021 and 22, they're going to be freaking everywhere because of all this stuff. If she's on Dancing with the Stars, plus there's like no less than 4 shows trying to get launched tied to it in some way. I think Nicolas Cage casting on as the Tiger King is terrible.
Mhm.
I like him.
I
but
think they should do David Spade.
Or Jack Shepard.
I don't know who that is. I don't know who Dax Shepard.
Yeah,
Dax Shepard. Okay.
I don't know who that is.
Dax Shepard.
I know the
He's,
name. Yes.
married to
Kristen
Kristen
Bell.
Bell.
Yeah, he's on stuff, but yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
So real quick before
I really can't stand the idea of this show.
No.
I have the sneaking suspicion that this show and probably the other one too are gonna die the quick death. I just even though there's
I think they'll
talent
put an
behind
end to the Tiger King.
No,
sequel.
I think what is going to last longer than all of them is the documentary sequel.
Yeah.
Because one, it's really cheap. 2, it's on Netflix, and Netflix, if they get something like that they can get some views off, it's so cheap to make, they'll keep it around. But I feel like both of these shows are going to die pretty quick.
I'm just waiting for Joe to get pardoned by Trump.
Oh my God, probably. Didn't he get COVID?
Yeah,
I thought so.
he's alive.
Okay, so before we move into the next story, what has everybody been watching?
We've been watching Umbrella Academy season 2
Oh, is it good?
Lovecraft Country.
and Lovecraft Country.
Yes, Nathan's on the Lovecraft Country kick now too.
Yeah.
Whoop,
I
whoop.
watched episode 1.
Episode 2, it's good.
And all Zach did in episode 1 was bitch about how many times people cocked a shot.
Oh my god! Oh my god! We're gonna talk about that right now.
Oh,
Not
shit!
too
Here we
long.
go. Yeah, we can't go too long with this.
Please don't do it
Okay.
too long.
In Lovecraft Country, I'm watching it. I'm trying to follow it because I don't know if I was in the right headspace for it. And then people get caught by some assholes with shotguns, and oh my god, the amount of times they go with their shotguns, it's like 6-7 times. I'm like, is the bullets loaded or not? Are y'all just ejecting shells left and right?
It's a very natural motion for those characters.
You have to hit a button to release it. And I'm just like, are your guns loaded yet? Bam!
So, being a fan of
I'm gonna
80s
fuck you
action
up.
movies, I
You
don't
better
care.
not do that. Shh. Oh my gosh, what's that? Shh. It's like, oh my god.
I don't know. Have you watched an 80s action movie? Because I just doesn't.
Dude, in the 80s action movie, they'll do it once, maybe
Not
twice
true.
after 5
Not true.
minutes. This
Not
is
true.
like 8 times.
You know, that does bother me sometimes, but I don't know. I guess I was into the
It
actual
was-
story. So
Yeah,
much
I
that
didn't
was
really notice
so
it that
Yeah,
much.
I was.
It drew me out.
Yeah, I just didn't
No.
care because I was into the story, even with the
I will
flaws
say
that I
my
talked about
brother
previously.
my brother is coming over to watch it tomorrow night.
Yeah, but-
he's not too terribly far behind. So
Yeah, I want to get into that part because when we talked last week about episode 1, Tina and I were both pretty into it. Steven, you were the most critical, not against it, but you were the more critical one.
Yeah.
So what would you think of coming out of episode 2?
Without getting too spoilery, because I know Zach hasn't watched it yet, but I will say I felt like episode 2 should have been like 2 or 3 episodes in a way. I feel like they just sort of shot their load, to be honest with you. I feel like it could almost just be done at this point. And I know it's not, and I know there's more to happen, but like things that they were building on in the first episode, just done. We're done.
It felt like a season finale.
Yeah.
Or at least like a mid finale or something.
There was
it
a
was
lot.
It was a lot of stuff.
yeah.
That said, I did like it. I liked some of the characters, but it doesn't matter because, don't want to be too
However, they gave
spoilery.
me enough breadcrumbs of okay, well, where can this lead to that will keep me coming back?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. I'm still in. I feel like it's one of those shows where the overarching story has some flaws, but I like the characters. I'm interested to the layering of the characters and developing in them more. So I'm sticking with it.
Well, the preview for this Sunday, it seems like it's going to be a lot tamer and more centrally focused than it was this last one.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe because Zach, not spoilers, but episode 2 is batshit crazy.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's batshit crazy.
I thought episode 1 was fine.
I don't
It didn't
know.
blow me away. Like some people I saw on Facebook were just like, "Oh my gosh, yes."
Well,
I'm
and
like,
see, that's it. I agree with that. It didn't blow me away, but I liked it enough to stick with
I
it.
do
Yeah,
feel like it
fine.
was overhyped. I think a lot of people were looking forward to it just because, I mean, we haven't had a very Lovecraftian horror series in a while. I mean, you have American Horror Story, but that plays on generic horror types.
Also
whereas
not-
this one,
Also,
It's-
hasn't really been great since season 1.
yeah.
to be
So I
honest.
think people were just really excited for a new horror series, especially delving more into like a Lovecraftian theme. So I think it did get overhyped. I know watching the first episode, I felt like it was overhyped,
Mhm.
but I ended up really enjoying it, especially going into episode 2.
I love the main girl.
She's my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's
badass.
She's the best. Yeah.
But I also feel like timing wise, not to get into too much of that kind of thing, but I feel like timing wise, the social commentary that is in this is something people want to see right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah. So
I was actually surprised at how many people were, because it's not spoilery, because I'm not going to go into how it plays into it, but on Twitter there was a thread being like, you guys didn't know about what a sundown town means?
Anyone who's unaware,
Oh.
the show takes place in the 1950s.
Yeah.
So you have a lot of segregated towns and stuff like
and
that.
all the leads are African American, so
Yes.
so they're dealing with. And
it is
to-
interesting though to see that HBO seems to be on a vanguard of this kind of stuff right now too, because we had the similar situation with Watchmen going over the Tulsa massacre,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and now we have like sundown towns too, and it's like HBO's definitely hit a nerve, and they're doing well with it.
But you also-
But it's not something that they tried to strike at the moment, because these are shows that have had to be in production for a while.
Yes.
Set in the 1950s and all the stuff that they had to do to prep for this, it didn't happen overnight. So they've been at this for a while.
Well,
which is
and
cool.
you got to think too, people that are using Twitter or they're in their early 20s or in their 20s in general weren't taught. Like growing up in the 90s, I knew more. I guess that's where I was brought up too. I knew
Yeah.
more than people in their 20s do now about.
I knew more, like, okay, because I was raised in the South,
Yeah.
I wasn't taught it in the classroom. I was taught it driving down the street. It's like
On the street.
my dad coming in and being like, "Oh, he better get out of here before sundown." It's like small stuff like that, learning by the way you were brought up, which takes a while to unlearn. That has taught me more just growing up. But no, it's great to see that it's kind of educating in the right way a new generation, I guess.
Well, and if you're someone who knows the Lovecraft storytelling, it's kind of yelling back at him too.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love that it's a slap in his face.
Yeah. So what else? What else does anybody want?
We tried watching The Vow, which is the documentary series.
I watched it
on Nixium. I couldn't get into it.
I think what's happening with that is I watched it. It's 2 hours. The first one is 2 hours.
Yeah.
Oh, dear Lord. I didn't realize it was that long.
Yeah.
Well, and this is what happened is I watched it, and normally this is something I don't do, so write it down, Zach. I know you'll remind me of this later. But I watched it in segments. Yeah. But it's because I was like you guys, I wasn't really feeling it in the first hour. And I thought, I'll just step out. But the other night, I just, I was looking for something. So I just clicked it and watched the second hour. And I think they drug some stuff out too long. Because by the end of the second hour, I'm like, okay, I'm ready.
All right, then I'll go back and revisit it for that last hour. But, I mean, it's me. Like, I know what Nixium is. Like, I've...
And you want to know what's really
felt
fun?
like I was like, okay, I know this. Okay,
There have been a couple of stories that I didn't bring on here because I already knew if I brought it on here, you would already know the answer and you would probably spoil it for me like you did the other documentary.
Sorry. It's not my fault you don't watch the news.
Because I put in our group the trailer for that new documentary thing that I think you and I probably both watch. That's the documentary series on Action Park.
Yeah.
I don't know anything. No, I don't know anything. So I didn't put the story in the rundown. I'm very interested in the documentary.
But the last show that we've been watching here lately is, as Nico said, the second season of Umbrella Academy.
See, I need to probably give it another chance. I didn't finish the first season.
Yeah, same here. I watched like 2 episodes season 1. I was like,
I watched 2 episodes also. I was like, for some reason, I just didn't connect with it. But everybody that I trust just seems to be really liking it. So I'm going to go back.
It's not I wouldn't take it too seriously. It's more so for the fun aspect. It's a fun, like, dysfunctional family kind of superhero-y bit.
Okay.
The second season has this one scene that Nico and I just absolutely loved because it shows them being a family, like acting as siblings would act. So
I'm not really watching too much like series TV right now. I'm in a gap. I'm still kind of randomly here and there watching The Last Ship because I know it actually ended. I'm glad I didn't get into Altered Carbon. Altered Carbon was a cool looking show. Glad I didn't waste my time going to it though, because as of yesterday, I think I saw
yesterday.
canceled.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm kind of in that weird space trying to find something to watch now. I've just been watching a lot of movies. Nathan, what are you watching? Are you watching anything?
The other day I binged through season 2 of The Glow Up, but it's like a makeup competition show on Netflix. So like Michelle would like that.
Yeah.
And then I've been doing like the live feeds and the actual show of Big Brother for this season.
Oh yeah, and getting very mad about Big Brother, by the way.
So Sierra commented that they finished Yellowstone and started Hannah last night.
Yeah, so I watched season 1 of Hannah. I liked it. I'm 2 episodes into season 2. It's funny with that show is I like it, but I don't find myself, like water cooler style, like running back to it. But I will probably eventually do it. And we talked about Yellowstone before. That's the Kevin Costner thing that was on the Paramount Network. And I hear really good stuff, but to me, it's hard to find it. So I'll catch it on Blu-ray eventually.
Maybe tonight I'm going to watch Boy State on Apple
I'm going to
TV.
watch Boy State. I might watch that tonight as well.
I need to watch that, yeah.
Boy
I-
State.
And then here
I'm
soon,
fascinated
Boise
by it
coming out.
because I went to Boise State.
Did you really?
Really?
Yeah, when I was in high school, I went to the Tennessee Boys State.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So that is on Apple Plus, Apple TV Plus, or whatever they're calling it. Yeah. So I might watch that tonight too. Actually, Zach, are you watching anything to speak of?
I watched the Assault on Arkham movie.
Yeah.
I
Okay, that's enough.
I watched 2 horror movies last night. I watched Friday the 13th, Part 4, Final Chapter, and Blood.
Oh, you watched why did you watch that randomly?
So KJ was in the mood for it's like I want some comfy 80s like cabin summer camp.
So
horror
that's
movie.
the one. That's the one with.
That's the one with no summer camp. It turns out.
Is that the one with Corey Feldman?
Yeah, it is.
That's my favorite one.
That's your favorite one?
I love that one.
Oh, it's so bad.
I know they're all bad though. They're all bad.
Okay, I'll give you that. It's bad.
I love Corey Feldman at the end of it though, and I love
Like
that.
things don't get moving until like the last 5 minutes though.
Yeah. And I remember when I was a kid thinking that like the girl, the main girl, the blonde girl.
Yeah.
I remember when I was a kid thinking that she was real cute. That helped. That helped. I don't know if she actually is, but when I was a kid, I thought she was. But I mean, when I was a kid, I also thought my kindergarten teacher was real cute too, and she probably wasn't either. I like that one though. All right, what do we got coming up next?
All right, so next, fans of Stephen King, pay attention. Stephen King's The Stand limited series television show sets a December release date on CBS All Access. Published in 1978, King's massive apocalyptic novel set in the grim aftermath of a superflu outbreak and concerning the epic battle between good and evil factions of survivors has suddenly taken on a new and very relevant, very stark relevance amid the ongoing, very real coronavirus pandemic. It remains to be seen if TV audiences will actually sit down to watch a show about a society-destroying disease outbreak while dealing with a society-destroying disease outbreak. But CBS All Access is banking that they will, for morbid reasons, if nothing else.
If people's determination to see Contagion is any key, they're right.
Indeed, the streamer has now set an official premiere date of December 17th, 2020, for the limited series adaptation of King's classic novel. Now, of course, The Stand was previously adapted as a miniseries by director Mick Garris back in 1994, though King fans did not necessarily embrace that particular attempt at capturing the story. The newest adaptation, according to episode director Josh Boone, will do one thing differently that the 1994 version didn't do, and that is embracing the decidedly R-rated content of King's sprawling original work.
Yes.
There will also apparently be some surprises in store for fans of the novel, as Boone says King himself wrote the limited series final episode, which takes place after the book's ending. CBS All Access The Stand stars Whoopi Goldberg, Alexander Skarsgård, James Marsden, Odessa Young, and many, many others.
Oh my gosh, I know this story so well that like when you say the cast, I know who everybody's playing. Like
Dude,
I
we
know.
had a dog growing up named Kojak. How do you think I feel?
So I liked the original miniseries. It had Gary Sinise.
Yeah.
And it really creepily used "Don't Fear the Reaper." I love the use of that song in the beginning.
I could not listen to that song when I was younger because of that miniseries. My mom would play it. Like, she had the VHS collection.
When that show came out, it was as dark as you could be on TV. You know, at that
for
time.
The 90s, yeah.
Yeah, you could do more now. The only problem I had with the original miniseries was spoilers. The hand of God comes down and saves everybody. It's such a
that's
literally, and it literally is that. Like there's a nuclear missile rolling into Las Vegas, and it comes down and now, if they fix that, this will be an amazing miniseries because that Stephen King characterization is so much fun. This is exciting. I'm excited. I can't wait.
I am super looking forward to this, especially knowing that King wrote the last episode. Makes me super hyped for it.
100% agree with you. I
I
can't
might
wait.
have to add The Stand back to my reading list pile. So
it's a big book, right?
yeah.
Yeah, 1,200, 1,300 pages.
Yeah. Well, I listened to the audiobook. All I remember is it was like 20 hours or something, 18 hours, something like that. So The Boys is coming back. Season 2 is coming back very shortly.
Like what? 2
Next
weeks?
week.
Yeah. So that'll be the focus next week for me is that. So
Yeah, we're trying to finish up Umbrella Academy so that we can be ready for it.
Which we've got 2 episodes. It's not going to be all.
that's
Yeah,
not
no, it's not a Handmaid's Tale situation.
So if you want to get yourself some physical media, you sure can. You can get this week The King of Staten Island, Tales from the Dark Side, the movie. That is a Shot Factory special edition. The Flash season 6, Deep Blue Sea 3, The House by the Cemetery 4K. Hang on 1 second. Where is it? There it is. There you go. We got it.
Yo, Blue Underground does not fuck around with those transfers.
Right,
they're really good.
They're 4K. Well, the previous set was Maniac and the zombie movie, and they're beautiful. So I can't wait to get
mastered in 16-bit color. And
Yep.
Everything.
So also the New York Ripper. Bam. According to this, it's the most disturbing movie of all time. That's not true, but it is really good. These are both Lucio Fulci movies.
Oh, that's cute.
Hollywoodland is out. Kiki's Delivery Service is out in a special steelbook edition. Fulci or Fake, which is a documentary / narrative experiment that looks terrible. But it features the work of Lucio Fulci, which is these 2 movies. And then Universal Horror Collection Volume 6 is also out this week. There's a crap ton more catalog stuff out if you're interested in physical media shopping. There's a lot. So what do we got in comic books?
In comics, so this week's probably big notable release is the premiere of a book in DC's Black Label series called Batman 3 Jokers.
I do like some Black Label.
Yep. So in a couple of years ago, there was a Batman story in which Batman unearthed the possibility that there were actually 3 different Jokers, which is kind of in the meta context of the Batman mythos, how contextualizes how the Joker has always seemed often as a different character. It's not necessarily that writers are writing him differently, that different writers, but that there are 3 distinctly different Joker characters. One's like more zany, one's more mobstery, one's more psychotic, that kind of thing. So this story by Jeff Johns is really going to go into what that is like. And explore what those 3 different Jokers are and that kind of thing. Marvel has a new Fantastic Four miniseries brought on by the legendary writer Mark Waid and legendary artist Neil Adams. I believe this is his first full-length Fantastic Four story. And if people who liked the Lock and Key series on Netflix, there is one of 2 issues. It's a 2-parter. The first issue is coming out of a Lock and Key miniseries that kind of goes back to some of the earlier history of the Locke family around
interesting.
World War I era.
That's cool.
Yep, and I just sent you the list pre-show, awesome. Of like big upcoming books. Also, Spawn this month. I'm not even following Spawn, but I love its cover. It's Spawn with a giant battle axe on an armored horse, and it looks like almost a Frank Frazetta cover.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
See, Spawn is one of those characters. I love the character, but for some reason, I don't really read the books.
Yeah.
When I think of Spawn, I think of the 90s HBO animated series.
Yeah.
Which I loved. And I'm fine with that. I wish they would do more of those. Cool. So what do you think is your pick of the week? What's the one thing we need to look at?
I'd go for 3 Jokers. I like
it sounds cool.
Marvel. Yeah. I mean, I like DC's Black Label series in general. It's kind of a mature prestige format.
Cool. All right. Sounds good to me. Well, we've been going at this pace for quite a while. I guess we should bring this thing to an end.
Yeah.
Nico,
we got a puppy whose bladder is probably about to explode.
Yeah. Right. Where do we find you on the internet, Nico?
Twitter and Instagram under Nico Scream. You can read it on the screen if you're on video. NIKOSCREAM.
Tina?
You can find me Instagram and Twitter under the Cheddar Popper, CHEDRPOPPR for book reviews. And you can see our beautiful pupper at the.shadow.pupper on Instagram.
Awesome. Nathan?
Find me on Instagram, Nate_R_70. Find me on Dead by Daylight, Nate70471. That's on Switch.
Yeah, Dead by Daylight.
Find me here.
Awesome. Zach?
You can find me on I'm on Steam and Discord as a Dangerous Meat Lunatic, specifically Meat Lunatic on Discord. No, wait, no, I'm a Dangerous Meat Lunatic on Discord. And you can also find me on Instagram. I'm Master of the Matrix 91. I play Dead by Daylight and Warzone and Apex.
Okay, cool. Find me at all things Culture Smash, mostly on the website and Facebook. You can also find me on the Xbox under Culture Smash. I've switched from my Switch to the Xbox for Dead by Daylight. And OTS Movie Night on Instagram, Off the Shelf Movie Night on YouTube, where you'll see the little video that Nathan and I made today if you want to see what the inside of the movie theater looks like when it's completely empty and sad, but still really fun to go to. And I guess that'll do it for this week.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.